What was the question?
We just started talking about Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no question, really. We're just comparing now Star Wars today to Star Wars back in the 60s. And I don't know.
The 60s.
Yeah, it was 69, I think it was.
No. You're confusing Star Trek with Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Trek was 1966. Star Wars was 1979.
The one with the Jedi and Jar Jar Binks being crappy.
Okay, that's 1979, not 1960.
79, really?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm mixing up my Star Trek.
Yes.
Really? It was 79?
Right, same year that the Black Stallion was released.
I told you I'm not a science fiction nut, so yeah, that's why you guys are here to set me straight. All right, so what you missed, Ani, just so you know, I grew up watching Empire Strikes Back. That was for me, just on replays. That was my when I grew up. That was really all I had for science fiction, aside from the occasional fluke of an intro to Star Trek. So I'm wondering, for long dedicated fans of science fiction, over the next 10 minutes, when I say Star Trek, I mean Star Wars.
Okay.
We are talking about the abomination that is Jar Jar Binks and the Jedi in the Force.
Oh, don't even get me started on Jar Jar Binks
getting you started. That's what I'm going to talk about, is how crappy Jar Jar Binks is. And how...
Well, Jar Jar Binks was okay, but what the whole thing is even, I mean, I need to have a word with George Lucas and his team, because they furthered the myth of Ani being Annie. Because of how they did the captions, where they were talking in this language and they called Anakin Annie, but they put Ani in the captions.
Go ahead. Her name is Ani Manjinkin. So this is a personal subject.
Yeah.
So take a moment, Ani. Go ahead and get it all out.
No, I just said my piece. Said my piece.
All right.
But really I mean, I grew up with the original Star Wars, in 1979, and to this day, when those first three notes hit, shudders go down my spine, because that opening scene, galaxy in a far away, or whatever, how, a galaxy far away, or whatever, that really, I mean, when you think about it, that Star Wars was really the first major, all audience encompassing science fiction. Yes, I believe, I'm not sure if 2001 was released before Star Wars or after Star Wars, but Star Wars set the trend. Star Wars set Star Trek was the one for the television series. Star Wars was the one for the movies. Star Trek, had all its things. You had science fiction before Star Trek. I mean, you had, Rod Serling's Twilight Zone. You had, Lost in Space. You had other sci-fi come before Star Trek, but really Star Trek was the one that said, hey, I'm here.
Oh, no, that's Doctor Who. Doctor Who did that. Star Trek is a copycat, and I love Star Trek. But it did copy a lot. It is Doctor Who credited as the father.
But nobody knew about Doctor Who. I mean, Doctor Who didn't become popular until about the 80s, 70s or 80s.
Rosemary, how do you feel about that?
I thought we may be having a cultural difference here.
Yes.
Like I said, we are 5-10 years behind the times here in the States.
Yeah, with all due respect to the Brits, of course.
Yes. I just saw this, and I did not realize it. When Doctor Who was supposed to air on November 22nd, 1963, it did not air that date because Kennedy was assassinated.
Oh,
it got postponed to November 23rd, and because everyone was watching the assassination coverage on Kennedy, they never got it. It was nothing. The mother of Doctor Who insisted on a repeat. So that Saturday they rewatched it. It was about a week afterwards when everything died down, and they were scheduled to release the second episode with Daleks. So they aired the first one, Unearthly Child, and it was back to back. And then they did the Dalek episode. 10 million viewers.
Wow. Okay.
It was an instant sensation in England. And phenomenal. They broke records. It was instant superdom. It was just phenomenal what they did. Only in England. We are slow to the upkick. And by the time we figured out that this was something really amazing, we're late to the party. It's embarrassing. so
I'm still late to the party. I haven't watched an episode.
Yeah, no, Doctor Who raked in 10 million viewers. Within 3 years, it was a sensation, which is why it ran for 53 years.
We are really big on sci-fi in this country. We have been for a long time.
Yeah, far more open-minded than the States. We are really slow to the upkick. And I mean, we had
uptake.
Thank you.
Not uptake.
Yeah, I'm learning. Uptake. I think I say that all the time too. Uptake. We had 3 years of Star Trek, and then it was canceled.
Yeah.
So same thing with Firefly. We don't need to talk about Firefly. We know what happened to Firefly. We are really closed-minded when it comes to science fiction. We are just.
I was crushed when Firefly went off the air. I was just crushed.
I watched one episode and it did not do it for me.
No!
I know. I have to turn in my nerd card.
But then Caprica. I love Caprica. And actually, I've had people say to me, "You have to mention Caprica if you go." Have no one seen Caprica? That got cancelled. That when you were talking about robots earlier, I was like, "God, to mention Caprica," because that was about that was quite recent, and that was about intelligent robots, kind of a bit like Blade Runner, but a bit absolute genius. And that had 2 series, and that was cancelled, and that was so far ahead of its time.
Yeah,
and that was American series.
Well, okay.
And
what about Andromeda? I mean, Andromeda was a interesting series that never really played out.
How is Babylon 5 with everybody?
I love Babylon 5.
I should have watched it.
I can't. I tried. And I'll tell you, Doctor Who ruined me for sci-fi. And it's weird. Let me explain that first. I watched Star Trek Generations first. Well, I'm sorry. Let me back up here. I watched Star Trek first. I refused to watch any of this until I figured out where to start because I'm huge on I have to watch it in chronological order. So when I finally had the map to the Star Trek universe, my husband walked me through it. Beautiful, just wonderful. I got the full treatment. We bought it on DVD. We binge watched the original series, and then we watched the movies all in order of production. And then I watched Generations, then Deep Space Nine. So I was like, I'm on board. And then I broke after Deep Space Nine. We branched off into Doctor Who. Again, once we figured out where to start, I started right with Unearthly Child, William Hartnell, 1963. Now, just to give you an idea, 1966 is when Star Trek aired. So I am no stranger to 60s TV. I love black and white classic television, so this was nothing for me. I went back to 1963, and I watched, and I finally finished. Like I said, it took me a year to get through all of Doctor Who. I finished with Peter Capaldi, and I'm sitting here biting my nails for April 15th when they bring him back. I'm like, I'm ready to watch. And I went back to Star Trek Voyager. I couldn't make it through 10 minutes without just going, this is crap in comparison to Doctor Who. Back to Doctor Who. And I'm trying to get back to watch Star Trek, and it's just Doctor Who ruined me. There is like a quality of sharpness when it comes to it that really, I'm curious what everyone else thinks.
Well, I can't comment because I haven't watched Doctor Who, but I also think about the other TV series that was popular in the 70s, well, in the late 70s, 80s, and that's Space 1999. It only lasted 2 seasons, but when you look at the effects of that series right now, they're cheesy. You know, I mean, it's really, you can tell it's 70s TV.
Yeah, Babylon 5.
if you want to see where, I mean, if you want quality American science fiction, that thing, Space 1999, which basically where the moon got blasted out of orbit and thrown into the galaxy, was way ahead of its time. I mean, in some respects, I liked it better than Star Trek.